Hi, welcome back to our channel, Books Don't Review Themselves. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kim.
And today we are going to talk about The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor. So I'm just going to read the synopsis. None of us ever agreed on the exact beginning. Was it when we started drawing the chalk figures or when they started to appear on their own? Was it the terrible accident or when they found the first body? In 1986, Eddie and his band of misfit friends are on a verge of adolescence. Bonded by mutual awkwardness and a yearning for excitement, they spend their days biking around their English village looking for adventure. The chalk men are their secret code, little chalk stick figures they draw for each other as hidden messages, warning of bullies or signifying meeting spots. But one morning, Eddie finds a chalk man directing him into the nearby woods. He follows the message only to find the dismembered body of a teenage girl. That is the day when everything changes. In 2016, Eddie is a grown man working as a teacher at his old school, nursing a drinking problem and trying to forget his past until one day he gets a letter with no return address containing a single chalk stick figure, the same figure he saw the day he found the body. Soon he discovers that each of his old friends has received the same mysterious note. At first, they brush it off as a bad prank, but when one of them is killed, Eddie realizes that saving himself means finally figuring out what really happened all those years ago. But digging into the past proves more dangerous than he could have imagined, because in this town, everyone has secrets. No one is truly innocent, and some will do anything to keep the truth buried.
So what'd you think? I have a feeling that's a sad sigh.
Honestly, I'm between like a 2 or 3. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm at a 4, and I could possibly be swayed to a 5. So,
Yeah.
I want to hear.
So I ended up listening to the book. There was a lot of characters.
Yeah.
A lot to like keep up with. So to me, at times it got a little confusing.
Okay.
I understand why she did the back and forth. And I'm okay with that, but that also at times got a little confusing to me. But again, I was listening to it.
Now, they go back and forth between 1986 and 2016. When you were listening to it, did they start the chapter? Did it say 1986 or no? Or 2016?
It would say.
Okay.
But the chapters could be, anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes depending. So if you are starting and stopping.
Okay.
Because I feel like even with the book, you might have to go back and be like, okay, I'm in.
No, I felt with the book, the 1986 and the 2016, I was able to. But I can definitely see with the audiobook starting and stopping, you're like, where was I again?
Yeah, the other thing, this gave me, I'm interested to see what you think, but this definitely gave me like Stephen King It vibes.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that one and Stand By Me. When I read this book,
I've not read Stand By Me, so.
God.
Have you watched the movie? I don't know if that's a book or a movie. I don't know.
It's one of his short stories and one of his books.
No.
So you haven't seen the movie?
Mm-mm.
Anyway, so, yeah, it gave me It vibes and it gave me Stand By Me. The way she wrote, these were kids, the book even said it, the synopsis, they're on the verge of adolescence. In the book, Nikki is the only female of a group with 4 other guys. So that was very it. Finding the dead body was very Stand By Me. Nikki is abused by her father. That is very it. Yeah, I mean, I can 100% agree with you, and I see it in so many ways. The other thing, too, the way she writes...
That's all I kept thinking about, honestly.
You're like, oh, I've already read this book or watched this movie, whatever. I don't need to see it again or read it again. But even the way she wrote, too, when the main character, Eddie, is reminiscing or talking about his past or whatever... It felt very Stand By Me to me, because I think I don't remember which character, maybe Will Wheaton's character, I don't remember, but he kind of introduces the movie and he kind of does the outro to the movie, and he has that reminiscing vibe feel to him. It felt very Stephen King to me, which I was fine with, though.
I mean, the story... I was okay with. There was just certain aspects of the characters that were annoying to me. Okay. There were certain parts of the story that I'm like, you just let it go, or you just like...
Don't think too much about it.
And then you grow into adulthood, and then it's just like, whatever.
I have a quick thing. Like, I do not remember, and I was going to look back, but I never do. Do we see what the letter says that is sent to them? I do not recall ever seeing this letter.
I don't
think
so.
Every time they brought it up, I would think to myself, when do we get to read the letter? Or did I already see the letter and I completely forgot it? So that was one thing that kind of annoyed me a little bit. I'm like, show us the letter.
Yeah. And I enjoyed, like, the ending.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed, it got, like, I think when I was on, like, chapter 25 of the audiobook, it was really fast-paced as to, like, the ending, and it was like, oh, okay, so this is what, oh, no, like, you know what I mean? But to say, am I, like, completely shocked by it? No.
I thought through a lot of the book that Eddie was, like, an unreliable narrator, and he was the one who had done something, or the killing, whatever. Then later on, she gave some clues away in regards to, like, she says strong legs and, you know, angel wings and stuff like that. So there are clues there that I'm like, oh, okay, so it's not Eddie. It's this person. But yet it wasn't that person. There was, like, still other things that went on. I did not see those other things.
Right.
But like you said, it wasn't shocking or anything.
Right.
On the other hand, it was kind of
fun. Some
fun.
parts were shocking.
Some things were.
Yeah.
And it felt kind of fun because there were so many things going on and so many people involved with these things. You're like, Jesus Christ, everyone in that town is like fucked up. So yeah, I enjoyed that part of it. That's why I think
I just really went into this with really high expectations, and
it got a lot of acclaim. It's from 2018, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. And it says, you know, down here, The Chalkman is a must-read thriller of 2018. Mm-hmm. And I think, because a lot of times what I actually do is I go to Book of the Month Club, and I see what their options are for that month, and like, oh, what would I pick if I had a subscription? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they end up on my
TBR.
My TBR list. Mm-hmm. And I think that's how I got a hold of this one, because this was a Book of the Month option. It, you know, you can see. So I think that's how it ended up. And like, I don't know. It just...
You had more high hopes for it.
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm. See, and I knew nothing about it going in. I didn't have all those hopes behind me. So I enjoyed it because I didn't have that. And also because I do like Stephen King's older stuff. I have problems with some of his newer stuff. And so does Scott. When you read, he did a book review for Elevation. And he has some problems with it too, with his newer stuff.
And see, like, I liked it. Mm-hmm. But when I'm reading this, all I could think back, like, there were parts, like, when all the kids were young, and I'm picturing
those characters,
like, riding their bikes and stuff and whatever, because it was, like, even kind of that was the same. Yeah. So I'm just like, oh my, and so part of me was like, I wonder if Kim's going to feel the same way reading this, because it just, I couldn't get over how
much they were like, how similar they were.
But yet different. Mm-hmm. You know, so.
And so I'm thinking, obviously, C.J. Tudor was a big fan of Stephen King and probably read him growing up, and this influenced her. Yeah. Which, I mean, everything's been done before, so it's just doing it your own way.
Right.
And she did. And
she did, yes.
I enjoyed what she did, but I can totally see why you're like, not as...
Yeah, and I did buy another one of her books from Book Outlet. I think it's called The Hidden Place. Yeah, The Hiding Place.
The Hiding Place.
So I'm not opposed to reading more of her stuff, you know, and maybe part of the problem is, again, you can totally get a different vibe from a book listening to it as opposed to reading it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think the audiobook is necessary. Mm-hmm. Other times it can take away. And for me, it got to be confusing. It got to be kind of a cluster because you're starting and stopping and whatever, and I can't necessarily.
And see, with me, when I read the book, The Chalk Man, I would finish the chapter. Mm-hmm. You know, whereas you stopped in the middle or three quarters through and then picked it up later.
Yeah, because
so like that makes a huge difference.
Yep, because I'm listening to it, you know, when I'm driving, so it's like whatever I can listen to in that 20 minutes or whatever.
So I guess if you do listen to the audiobook, be able to be at home or someplace where you can listen to the, you know, until the end of the chapter. That might help you enjoy it perhaps more, or just read the book itself.
So, I mean, was there anything that was super shocking to you in this book?
No, it wasn't shocking, but I was like, oh.
I had to laugh with some of the priest stuff because I'm like, obviously we know he's somehow
involved and nasty, and yeah. And I mean, like I said, right away with Nikki, you know, they talk like almost in the first chapter, I think, about her having bruises all the time, and I'm just like, well, you know what's happening at home,
right?
You know. And then later on he sees her stabbing a cross into her leg repeatedly. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's like there were little things like that I don't want to say I enjoyed because they're morbid and like weird and whatever, but like I appreciated that she really, because this book isn't like overly long. It's only 277 pages, so I appreciate how much she put into it. Like, and I would still recommend this.
Yes,
I'm just saying that from my experience with the audiobook, it got to be a little hard to follow. So
yeah, and I did like how all the different things that happened like came together, and how there was all different things, and I really enjoyed that instead of just having it one person.
Almost everybody
is fucked up and did something.
Played a role into the overall picture, yes.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did definitely make it her own. I don't want it to sound like she completely copied or anything like that, because she did not. It's very different. It's just there's certain aspects of like the whole youth and then the adults like kind of coming back together.
And the other thing too is at the very end of the book, Eddie's father had Alzheimer's, and he's dead by the end of the book, way before the end of the book. And so Eddie learns all these secrets from people, and then you can tell his dementia, he's starting to get Alzheimer's dementia. Yeah. So that kind of made me like just smirk a little bit, because I'm like, Eddie knows all these secrets, but soon he's going to forget them all. Yeah. You know, but at the same time, they'll still come to light from time to time when he's more with himself. Right. And it was kind of like it went full circle, because that's also what happened with other characters in the book. Right. So I enjoyed the ending. It wasn't a twist in the ending, you know, the very, very ending. It wasn't like shocking or twisting. It was just an ending.
But it was good.
Exactly. The way it ended, it tied everything together, and it just, like I said, it put a little smirk on my face. Yeah. And like I said, I could easily, if someone talk to me more about the book and like totally loved it, I could easily raise my 4 stars to 5, but I'm gonna stick with 4 and just say I think you should read it. I think it was enjoyable. Yeah,
I'm probably more at a 3.
And maybe if you had read it instead of the audiobook, perhaps, you know, you would have been
I'd be a 4,
even a solid 3 instead of a iffy 3. You know?
Yeah. Overall, I mean, I still would recommend it.
And after you read the next one, The Hiding Place,
it'll be interesting to see. Yeah. But like, subscribe, come back for more. Let us know your thoughts. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.